Forecast models are all predicting hot to extremely hot conditions over much of the continent in the coming week, with potential record-breaking temperatures.
Adelaide is tonight the hottest city on the planet as heat records tumbled across the state today.
The region 42 in Winton and Windora. It is already filthy sticky. 92% humidity we will hit today.
Pete, it's our western suburbs that will bear the brunt of the heat, but temperatures will soar right across.
Perth is heading for a record heat wave with temperatures tipped to hover above 39 degrees for 5 days straight.
Developing now, the east coast set to swelter. Sydney, Melbourne and Adelaide all climbing into the 40s.
The Bureau of Meteorology has forecast warmer than average day and night temperatures across the country this summer.
And that means a surge in people switching on air conditioning.
Western Sydney is still sweating through its hottest day this year, with blackouts in some suburbs leaving thousands without air conditioning or fans.
Hundreds were hit by blackouts around Denniston and thousands around Bankstown.
The problem is when we don't get the opportunity to cool down at night and we have these consecutive days of warm weather and warm nights, it sneaks up on people.
Australia's blind spot is hot suburbs plus mid to dark roofs equals urban heat crisis. We've taken a thermal drone to multiple locations around Australia, including large urban developments through New South Wales, Victoria, ACT, South Australia and Western Australia. Australia's residential development has continued to grow year in, year out. There is, however, a major blind spot in our building strategies that are causing major consequences to our urban living standards. This video aims to show that our building standards across Australia are failing and we're developing unsustainable urban development. By researching in the field and taking readings off urban surfaces, we'll highlight across the southern part of Australia the built materials all perform the same in temperatures 25 degrees and above. What's become very clear is that dark tiled roofs are the worst thermal performance due to their thermal mass. They hold the heat longer and take longer to cool down, and that's the same across Australia. Metal roofs such as galvanised, Zincalume and Colorbond are similar in their thermal properties. They heat up quickly and radiate that heat into the home's roof space, which can often exceed 60 degrees and then penetrates into the home. With this footage, it becomes quickly self-evident that no matter the material, mid to dark colours are prolific across Australia's developments and are causing the need for more air conditioning. Even in Googong, near the ACT at an elevation of 600 metres, on a 25 degree day, the built materials are affected by the same negative thermal properties as other parts of Australia. Copious International and even a recent University of Adelaide study highlighted that cool roofs have nominal penalties in winter. However, in many cases, the summer cooling gains outweigh the winter heating costs, making cool roofs an excellent investment. The built materials, along with dark colours, are causing urban heat islands, along with the increased costs to keep a home cool. Unsurprisingly, those built materials are performing the same across southern Australia. Western Sydney is growing fast, more homes, more roads and more infrastructure. But with that growth comes hidden dangers and extreme urban heat. It experiences some of the highest temperatures in Australia. In summer, it can be up to 10 degrees hotter than coastal areas like Sydney's CBD. This is the urban heat island effect in full display. Concrete, asphalt and dark roofs absorb and trap heat, turning suburbs into ovens and creating urban heat domes. Extreme heat isn't just uncomfortable, it's deadly. Heat waves kill more Australians than any other natural disaster, and with climate change, the problem is only getting worse. The previous National Construction Code modelling data spanned from 1970 to 2005, was recently replaced with more recent records covering 1990 to 2015, so we're still very far behind. While the main focus is on more insulation and R values that are lab tested to 23 degrees, we have a major blind spot and threat growing. Suburbs like Marsden Park contribute to urban heat island exceeding 50 degrees, driven by the rapid construction of identical brand new houses across the country, have become a core focus by leading researchers from Western Sydney University for more sustainable development. Coupled with more synthetic grass, there's literally no reprieve when it's hot if a home isn't properly prepared. Young trees in most of these new estates are 20 years from maturing and rely on lots of water resourcing to cool the environment, but they won't be cooling these burning hot homes for decades. Even in Melbourne, which is experiencing more hot weather and heatwave events than ever before due to climate change, they currently average 11 days above 35 degrees, with climate modelling showing this will rise to 16 days by 2050. Victoria has 4 climate zones, from Zone 4, hot dry summer and cool winters, to cool temperate and alpine areas, which are considered the same under the NCC insulation standards as the rest of the country. However, as you can see from the thermal readings, that Melton, Victoria has the same as Marsden Park, New South Wales, Monopara, South Australia, and even Gogong near the ACT. The sun pretty much is the same across Australia as it is across the planet, so building with dense dark materials has no net gain for most of Australia, and it's driving up consumption of power, along with unsafe living and more carbon emissions. Based on our field research, Midvale in Perth, Western Australia seems to be the most progressive example of more blended homes in new estates with light to dark coloured roofs. Perth could swelter through twice as many days above 35 degrees by 2050 and face a whole month of extreme heat every summer if we continue on our current emissions trajectory. Don't be fooled, even coloured roofs perform the same, so having a mid to dark green roof, for example, won't be any cooler than a dark red or grey roof. This video is excluding the solar heat gain load on walls, but it performs just the same. And finally, while Zincalume looks shiny, its emissivity is so low that it holds the heat and re-radiates that into the home and the environment. So, as proven, colours really do matter across Australia's built environment, yet blocking infrared heat is really the silent heat assassin that's never discussed. The sun's heat comprises of UV, visual and infrared. Dark colours do absorb most of the solar heat through the roofs, walls and other built materials. And traditional insulation struggles in high heat, which is increasing air conditioning needs. White reflects the light but absorbs the infrared heat, so the key is blocking all the heat before it's absorbed, which includes reflecting light and blocking infrared. Supertherm blocks and reflects 96% of the total solar heat, which saves you money, keeps you cool and is future proofing. Thank you, and for more information or to learn more about heat, materials and advanced sustainable solutions, please visit neotechcoatings.com.